Hi, I'm Don Rich. Welcome to this episode of Rich Insights. Today's topic is risk management. Now, don't stop the video. Just give me a second here. I know risk management isn't the most exciting topic, but if you give me 5 minutes, right? If you give me 5 minutes and you don't find something interesting in this 4-minute video, well, then go ahead and pull the plug. I give you permission. But until then, just give me a little time. Now, the reason I want to talk about risk management is, had you invested at the depths of the 2008 recession, right? So had you invested on March 1st of 2009, that's when the market started to turn. From March 1st, 2009 to the end of December 2019, the market you would have experienced over a 17% return. In fact, a 17.25% return. These are just tremendous numbers, right? We're in the midst of the longest period of uninterrupted economic expansion in the history of capital markets. You have to appreciate that. And if you think the past is going to continue indefinitely, you're just wrong. You're just wrong. Yeah, we have to get smarter. All right, that's where the risk management comes in. By the way, this is the longest period, right? Before now, the previous longest period was actually leading up to the dot-com bubble. It was started somewhere in 91, 92 and finished in 2001. So the previous cycle started at the end of Bush 1 and finished at the start of Bush 2. All right. So that was the longest until June of last year. All right. So if we get to June of this year, we'll be in our 11th year. So let's call it 10 and a half years into this expansion cycle. Again, the longest in history. Normally, we run about 5 to 7 years before there's some sort of a slowdown. Some slowdowns, of course, lead into recessions. Some do not, but we generally get a slowdown. This is a very unusual time. All right, so keep that 17% number in your mind. I'm going to show you a chart next that's going to blow your mind. It is going to blow your mind. You're going to understand the importance of risk management here. Let's go to this chart here. Okay, so what we have in this chart here is 3 lines. All right, and in all 3 cases, it assumes we invest $100 January 1st of 2000. So what I'm looking at is just a 20-year investment horizon, the last 20 years. How would we have done if we would have started on January 1st of 2000 and held through the end of December 2019? The black line is our bond portfolio, all right? It is sometimes referred to as a Lehman Ag, or more commonly now, the Barclays Ag. And what this is the market cap weighted index of the U.S. bond market. It's the entire U.S. bond market in one index. The blue line, of course, is the S&P 500, the large cap U.S. equity index, the most popular large cap U.S. equity index. And you can see, obviously, had you invested at the depths and rode that horse, you would have done quite well. The brown line here in the middle is what's called the 60-40 portfolio. Had you put 60% of your money in the S&P 500 and 40% in the ag, and you rebalance every year, you got to remember to rebalance every year. So you keep a constant 60-40 mix. How would you have done? Well, the brown line shows us that we would have actually ended up almost exactly the same place had we just held the S&P 500. Again, that's just an amazing result. You should be gasping for air right now. This is an amazing chart. Because, again, since the depths of the dot-com bubble to today, you would have generated over 17% return. But had you held for the entire 20-year time period, you would have experienced a 6% return on the S&P 500. 6 per annum. All right. And of course, that's because the 2001 recession. That was a U-shaped recession, right? Long and drawn out recession, not nearly as sharp. And then we had the V-shaped recession in 2008. A very, very short recession, but it was much more painful. So, what we see from this chart is again, the importance of risk management. The 60-40 portfolio would have left you in the same spot, virtually identically, to a 100% equity portfolio. And, now here's the kicker, and you would have experienced about 40% less risk. All right? Same return, 40% less risk. Just amazing. All right. Now, before we draw a summary here, I'm going to ask you a risk management question. Suppose you were thinking about investing over the next 5 years, right? And you're saying to yourself, yeah, maybe I have two options. Maybe I could hold, say, a 50-50 portfolio for the next 5 years, right? 50% stocks, 50% bonds each year for the next 5 years. Choice 2 would be to hold 100% equities for 2.5 years, right? For half the time period. And then the other 2.5 years, we'd hold 100% bonds. All right. So at the end of the 5 years, we'd still end up holding a 50-50 portfolio. Right? Half the time we're in stocks and half the time we're in bonds. But it turns out that holding a 50-50 mix all the time is a much better strategy than holding 100% allocation half the time. All right. It was a very famous article, one landmark article by Paul Samuelson that actually proved that analytically. But the intuition for it is the fact that it depends so much on when you have 100% equity risk, right? It comes into market timing. If you could know the future, obviously we'd all be 100% invested in equities at all the time. Personally, I like to use an 85-15 rule, all right? So in other words, when I'm extremely optimistic, when I think there's a lot of opportunities in the marketplace and I really want to increase my risk profile, I'll go up to 80-85% equities. All right? Take my fixed income allocation down substantially. Now, if I'm really worried, really concerned about what I see on the horizon, I'll go the other way. I'll go as low as 15 to 20% equities, right? 85% fixed income. But what you notice is I always have some of each. No matter how dire I am, again, I don't know the future for sure. And so I always want to have some equities. No matter how optimistic I am, I could be wrong. I want to have some fixed income. And the reason that the blend works so well is, if you think about it, during times of slowdown, right? What's happening? What's the environment look like during a time of slowdown? Well, the economy's slowing. The Federal Reserve's probably cutting interest rates. And remember, when they cut interest rates, when interest rates go down, bond prices go up. All right? So when you're in the midst of a slowdown, the economy's slowing, equities are likely under pressure, right? You're losing on your equity portfolio, but you're gaining on your fixed income portfolio, right? That's the diversification. That's the insight. So the key insight today is, again, capital preservation. We got to think smarter in the future. It's, I don't think we're at the end of this bull market yet. I think this horse has a little bit longer to run, but we got to get smarter about this. That horse is getting tired, and we got to start making some adjustments, and paying more attention to what's going on in the horizon. All right. I'm Don Rich, and you just experienced a rich insight. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for your time. Talk again soon.